We have a program in the software that allows us to see alarm events when they happen in the system. Alarms are basically transactions that you want to get notified about. We have a transaction monitor. This monitor shows us live transaction events as they're happening in the system. Anytime any transaction, any door forced, valid access, access denied that we get in the system, that's all going to report here live in the transaction monitor. An alarm would be one of these transactions that we want to be alerted about. We want someone to be notified when this event happens. If I get a sample alarm here, let me minimize the transaction monitor. If I get a sample alarm, let's get a door forced open, let's say. Here's my door forced open. Now this is our alarm monitor. This window now beeps at us. We actually see the event, we can hear the beep, the sound can be adjusted, the colors in here can be adjusted, but this is an alarm. If I do go back to my transaction monitor, it does also report to the transaction monitor as an event, but this again wouldn't alert us. The transaction doesn't beep or flash at us. The other thing about alarms is alarms have to be acknowledged. So when we send this alarm to a computer for acknowledgement, we need to click on the alarm to actually acknowledge this alarm. So a security team would receive this alarm, they click on the event, and here they can see all the details. They can see what the alarm is, the date and time, which door had the event. Instructions can be added for the security person that's receiving the alarm. What do you want them to do when they receive the alarm? Comments would allow the security person, whoever is acknowledging the alarm, to go in and insert a comment. What did they do to acknowledge the alarm? Maybe they, secured the door. Whatever they did. Now, if you also have our video integration piece, then you can also see the live video of what's happening at the door right now, and you'd also be able to see the recorded event. So right here on the left, we're seeing the actual live video of what's going on in this area right now. Then over here, we'd be able to see the recorded event. You would see the time before the event, then this little arrow would be the actual event, and then this would be what's happening afterwards. Now this is just a video that's at a location in my office, so there was no actual door forced open on this video. But what we're seeing here is a live camera. I can move this camera if I want to, pan the room. We can zoom in right here, right from our alarm event. We can zoom in, again, move the camera. We can also see override. So if I wanted to, I could send a command to the door to reset the door. We can lock down doors. These are just the overrides available to me for this door, for this alarm. But if we go back here to our instructions, now to acknowledge this alarm, I come down here, click acknowledge. The alarm is now acknowledged. If I close this, the door is still open. As long as that door is open, it will remain here in this door forced open, acknowledged but unsecured alarm. So the door is still open. If I want to remove this, the only way to remove this would be to secure the door. Now the alarm's gone. We can receive door held open transactions, door forced open transactions. Any event that you can see in our transaction monitor, you can receive as an alarm. Alarms are programmed in our software in this alarm definitions program. And in here, you can program anything that you want. Any event that you can see in our transaction monitor, you can program as an alarm. We could have access denied alarms like you see I have programmed here. We could have access granted alarms. You can have, if you had a specific card holder that you wanted to follow around your facility, you can have an alarm come in if card holders swipe at specified doors. Any event in your system, you can program as an alarm. Now, what you just saw also was the alarm, when it comes in, it's going to my workstation here. We can program alarms to go to a workstation like you saw. We can also program alarms to go to an email address. We can also program alarms to go to a person at whatever workstation they log into. So if somebody was to log into our software at their workstation on their desk versus the security workstation in the security room, we could tell the alarm to go to them wherever they log in. If they log in at their desk, then the alarm will go to the desk. The alarms, again, can be programmed. So what we do is we program what we want to alarm on up here in this label definition. Then we program what actually specific doors we're talking about here. We could say I want a door forced open but only from these doors, or you could have multiple events program where we could have door forced opens in different buildings and then select different doors in different buildings. And then we also need to tell our software where we want the alarms to go. So we send the alarms, in this case, let me click on here, my door forced open. Now, I have programmed here my door forced open alarms, and I told the software which doors we're actually talking about here. And then we tell our software where we want the alarms to go. We call this the group attachment because we can send the alarms to, like I said earlier, to a computer, to a person wherever they log in, and we can also send the alarms to an email address. Now, we can group those as well. So we can create an alarm group that would say when the alarm comes in, go to all of these different computers, or go to these computers and this email address. So what I programmed here is I said, when the alarm comes in, and when I get a door forced, let's send that alarm to this group. The alarm's going to go to this group during a time zone of always. We can have alarms go to different groups during different times of the day. So maybe 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you want the alarms to go to one security station, but after hours, you want the alarms to go somewhere else. So we can set that up in our software. We also set up these routings of the alarms. So we can say, send the alarm to this group during a time zone of always. But then if no one acknowledges that alarm after 10 minutes, we're then going to send the alarm to another group. So the alarm will go from the one group of computers to now the other group of the computers. We also create these alarm priorities. Priorities allow us to set up how high up on a list an alarm is going to show. So if you have 20 alarms in your system, maybe they're all low priority alarms. Priorities are basically 1 to 99, where a priority 1 alarm is the worst alarm you could get. So if an alarm that was priority 20 came in at the same time that a priority 23 alarm came in, the priority 20 alarm would be higher on the list. Again, if we want to look at another alarm, if I want to get, let's say, an access denied alarm now, I'm just going to swipe at a reader that I have here. So now here's an access denied alarm. When I click on my access denied, and again, if I maximize here, and we can see all the information here. If we double click, we can also see the information in this same window. But now, since this is a card holder alarm, another tab is added here. We can still see everything else, the instructions, the comments, the live and recorded video. Over here now, we'll see the actual card holder's image. It's just another option that we have in the software. And we can also, again, execute the overrides, and you can see I have more overrides available for this type of alarm. When I acknowledge the alarm, this alarm, a card holder alarm, would never be unsecured, so the alarm just goes away. If we get multiple alarms in our system, I'm just going to grab a couple alarms here. We can select multiple alarms to be acknowledged. So I can select both the alarms and I select them to be acknowledged in a group, but we do need to view both alarms. So I can view this one and acknowledge it, then this will go to the next alarm, and then I can acknowledge that alarm. Again, alarms are programmed when you have people that are going to be acknowledging them. So alarms do have to be acknowledged, and they can be acknowledged through this GUI that we have here. They can also be acknowledged through our web GUI. I'll show you that in another video. This is our alarm monitor in the full client software. So alarms can be acknowledged here. When you program alarms, they do need to be acknowledged. If you want to receive events, but you don't want to be forced to acknowledge them, that's what the transactions are. So the transaction monitor shows you all these transactions. You don't have to acknowledge them when you receive them as a transaction, but alarms do need to be acknowledged. That's the alarm monitor.